good things come to those who wait. And today we announce that Toyota will invest $1.29 billion for its first automobile battery manufacturing plant right here in the Greensboro-Randolph Megasite in the greatest state of North Carolina.
It is a decade in the making. Toyota is coming to the plot of land that has longed for a major manufacturer.
The company is bringing an early Christmas present to the Triad with its more than $1 billion investment.
WFMY News 2's Jenna Kurzina found out more about the economic impact this will have on our area and the state. Jenna.
Chad, this is a big deal for the Triad. As you just heard Governor Cooper making that huge announcement today here at the Randolph County Greensboro mega site that Toyota will be making this land its new home for a battery plant. And not only will it be a new home for the plant, it will be a new home for more than 1,000 jobs coming to the area. Now, this piece of land may not look like much right now, but it will soon. Leaders in both Greensboro and Randolph County voted unanimously to approve the plans this morning. Toyota will be investing $1.29 billion to this mega site. The average salary for future employees is expected to be around $62,000. Toyota will create around 1,700 jobs here at the plant, but this will not only impact just the Triad, it will impact the entire state.
This manufacturing plant will create a supply chain that's necessary, and that'll be throughout the state of North Carolina. We know also that because we're making the EV batteries here, that you're going to see hopefully EV vehicle manufacturing here as well.
Production will start by 2025. Hiring will start no later than 2024, but Toyota says they do plan on having an aggressive construction schedule. I asked them, what other opportunities or doors may this open for the area, and they said, we'll have to stay tuned, but there will be more to come.
A big, exciting day for us all. Thank you, Jenna. Just before today's announcement, local leaders approved performance-based incentives, really sealing the deal on Toyota's plan. In phase one of its commitment, Randolph County commissioners agreed to pay 60% of the property tax the company pays. The county may pay extra payments to cover permitting fees required to build and operate the facility. Meantime, Greensboro City Council also voted to waive some water and sewer fees for the company.
Our incentives come with a clawback procedure so that if the project doesn't work, then the incentives aren't granted. And that's the way a lot of incentives work. In some cases, they're almost rebates. They are not upfront payments.
Mayor Vaughn says the project will help attract more businesses and create a stronger workforce.
This announcement, 30+ years in the making. The Piedmont tried several times before to bring a company to the mega site. Dr. John Reese was one of those people who worked for years on this. Dr. Reese is a retired geography professor at UNC Greensboro. He was actually one of 5 professors appointed by Governor Jim Hunt to design a methodology to get incentives to North Carolina so the state could offer those incentives for a new industry to come in. He says we've lost to other states before, like Mercedes to Alabama, or other companies to Charlotte or Raleigh, but he's proud that North Carolinians kept pushing to make it happen here.
I think it's lovely. It means that my theory is correct. You develop the theory, you make the conditions, you then work in those conditions, you don't give up.
Dr. Reese says North Carolina was the first state to develop an incentive methodology. For example, if a company promises to bring 10,000 jobs but only creates 5,000, the company must give 50% of the incentive back. Either way, Dr. Reese says this is a huge get for the state. While the Triad may have gotten lost in the shuffle in the past, this puts Greensboro on the map.
It's not the guy in Washington who's reading about this, it's the guy in Hong Kong who's reading about this. All of a sudden, Greensboro, North Carolina is getting attention from Singapore, from Hong Kong, and other places west.
Now, several other big companies are coming to our state, bringing thousands more jobs with them. Today, Governor Cooper signed House Bill 334 into law, approving a $100 million investment for PTI Airport. The money will prepare a site for a possible airline manufacturer. Meantime, Apple is setting up shop in Wake County. The company is investing $1 billion in its East Coast headquarters. It'll include 3,000 jobs in machine learning, artificial intelligence, and software engineering. Finally, Credit Karma announced an expansion project earlier this year, which will transform its Charlotte location into the company's first East Coast headquarters. What a great day for our state.
Yeah.
You add all those up, and that is a major impact. So one thing when you talk about PTI, a lot of people, one of the reasons they, especially from bigger companies, say, well, I'm not going to go to the TRIAD is because of the airport and where you can fly from direct and nonstop and that type of thing. That's a game changer for this investment with Toyota to be here and the improvements to PTI.
I am just so impressed. So much good news today on a Monday.
Yeah, we needed it on a Monday too. But what I loved what Dr. Reese was telling me about is that this really does put us on the map. You know, for years, companies, we were trying to get them to come here. Well, now we've got one coming, so that's just going to open the door for possibly even more, which would be great.
And you might remember a few years ago, we did a story on Greenville, South Carolina, when they got that BMW plant.
Yes.
I think it was 25, 30 years ago now, and that area has just blown up. And the hope is that something like that will happen here as well.
Yeah, watch property values in northern Randolph and
Right,
southern Guilford County. Yes.
Excited for the future. And some big events are being added to the Greensboro Coliseum's lineup. Stars on Ice will feature American figure skaters going for gold in the Winter Games. The tour comes to Greensboro on April 20th at 7:30, and the North Carolina Scholastic Classic showcases the best in high school basketball on February 11th. You can buy your tickets to the 4-day extravaganza at Ticketmaster.com and the Greensboro Coliseum box office.
And even more good news in your 4 to 5 roundup today. You might have noticed a small dip in gas prices. Gas Buddy says the average price in Greensboro is $3.14. It's 10 cents lower than a month ago. Not a huge decrease, but we will take what we can get. The national average is $3.34. Greensboro Day School students made cards for the Greensboro Police Department. Students dropped off the cards today to show their support for officers who were excited to read those handmade cards.
Big changes coming up in our forecast as we see much cooler air starting to move into the area. Take a look at readings right now. 66 in Greensboro, 69 Burlington, 68 in Asheboro. Heading north and west, Mount Airy at 65. Wilkesboro 63, and we're in the 50s for the higher elevations. There's Galax and Boone at 54 and 53. All right, for tonight and tomorrow, there is not a lot of change. Blanket of clouds moving across the area. Scattered showers possible really in the next several hours. You'll notice that start to happen, and then we'll quick clear out overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. But 45 for the low tonight. There's that isolated shower then clearing out. A little bit windy. If you've been out at all today, you've noticed that. 10 to 20 miles per hour out of the northwest. Tomorrow it'll relax a little bit, but the morning will still be rather windy, and that high temperature of only 48 degrees. We should be in the mid 50s roughly for this time of the year, so that's a little bit on the cool side. You notice the shower activity, some of it now in the higher elevations of the mountains. It's trying to make its way over here. The majority of this stays to the south. That's actually another low pressure center that's developing there, but still we run that risk. If you look at the futurecast here, it moves through pretty quickly overnight, and then this is going into tomorrow morning, and you see that clearing. There's another system that could be moving in. There it is, and there's a chance that the western half of the viewing area not getting as much rain as, say, the eastern half. But this is for Wednesday, and that's about at 9 in the morning. So it'd be morning showers on Wednesday. That's probably our best chance, honestly, over the next several days, actually, Wednesday being with the highest amount of rainfall, or at least the highest percentage. Here's what our 7-day looks like with that breezy overnight low tonight dropping down into the 40s. In fact, the mid 40s there at 45 degrees. Tomorrow's high only 48. We stay in the 40s for Wednesday. That is a rainy, cool day with a morning temperature of 38, 40% chance of rain, and 45 for the high. That's as good as it gets. Clearing out though on Thursday. We'll go partly cloudy, and now our high temperatures start to build as the high pressure comes in from the south. 49 Thursday, 58 Friday, Saturday, 30% chance of rain, and the warmest high of the week at 70.
You may have heard about the Thanksgiving story of a grandmother who accidentally invited a stranger to Thanksgiving dinner 5 years ago. It's now become a Thanksgiving tradition for Jamal Hinton to have dinner with Wanda Dench. Their story has caught the attention and warmed the hearts of so many that Netflix is producing a movie called The Thanksgiving Text. Dench was attempting to text her grandson to see if he would be attending Thanksgiving dinner in 2016, but accidentally texted Jamal Hinton. Even though they realized Dench texted the wrong number, Hinton went ahead and asked if he could still come over, and Dench said yes.
I love this story.
Love
every
it
year.
so much.
Every year. And you know what? Time goes by slow enough that I forget about it every year, and then it comes back, and I'm reminded of it again.
I don't know.
It's almost like one of those things where it's you don't even believe that actually happened. I mean,
Right?
if you were to watch the movie and not know the story, you'd be like, oh yeah, right, that really happened.
It's such a cool story. I love that they keep meeting up. And I don't know if y'all saw that Jess Winters, who used to work here and now is at our sister station, went and spent Thanksgiving with them.
Really?
She covered
Oh my
the
gosh.
story about it this year. So a former reporter of ours.
Wow.
Yeah, that was neat.
I'm curious to see how Netflix is going to portray this. You know, are they going to have some of the original people part of it, or are these all going to be actors? Do we know that?
I don't think we know yet.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard anything about it. Also,
But
you
I
wonder
hope.
who would they cast, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I hope they at least have cameos in it, right?
Right.
If I inspired some kind of Netflix movie, I would at least want some part in it.
Did you say when it's coming out?
You know, I don't know if I did. Let me rewind it back a little bit.
I guess I wasn't listening close enough, but
She could
I
pull
hope
like a
I hope it
Stan
comes
Lee.
out like a week before Thanksgiving. That'd
I
be
know.
perfect.
Oh, it would be great. It doesn't say, so hopefully we'll find out soon and let you guys know.
Yeah.
You got to do the Stan Lee cameo. That's what you have to do, like they did with him for
Right.
so long. All right, let's talk about the forecast, shall we? As we head into the next couple of days, actually not next couple, next 24 hours, you're going to see big changes in our outlook. Most of it from a temperature standpoint, a little rain too. You can see some of the showers now moving into the higher elevations of the mountains. So really from Allegheny, Ashwaubenon, Grayson, Carroll counties in Virginia, a little bit in Surrey County. Don't expect a big washout, but just a scattered or isolated shower at best or worst. I think that's what we'll get heading into the night. If you go out to a wider shot, you see most of the rain associated with this entire frontal area is really down to the south. There's a low developing down south too to make it heavier rain for that neck of the woods than it will us. Now that will reach us, but probably not until Wednesday. That's our rainiest day, really. All this moves out pretty quickly. In fact, we see clearing overnight tonight, and then as you head into Wednesday, yeah, there's the rainmaker, but notice how it kind of snuck in from the southwest back up to the northeast. So there's a chance our mountain and foothill communities may see very little rain from this, and then the majority of the rain will be down east and also the southern Piedmont. That's for Wednesday. Again, that is probably a 60% chance of rain, we think, or excuse me, a 40% on Wednesday. Tomorrow, it's a clearing but breezy day with a high of only 48. How about 38 degrees and rain? That'll be Wednesday morning with a high of only 45. Thursday, clearing and 49. Friday, maybe a shower in the evening, and that's a high of 58. We build to a high of 70 with only a 30 and 40% chance of rain. That's Saturday, Sunday, and we'll cool right back down again. This is a roller coaster of temperatures. 62 on Sunday, 52 and clearing on Monday. You know, when most of us head down to the Petty Garage and level cross, you're wanting to see Richard Petty's cars, but this time they'll be going to show off their own cars. I spoke with Shannon Newman with the Petty Garage about their Christmas cruise-in this Saturday.
We are just so excited. It started as really just a way to bring car enthusiasts to our garage and museum. And now it's just kind of morphed into a fun family event type atmosphere. We'll have Santa Claus here greeting all the children. We'll also hopefully be collecting food. It's not mandatory, but we are encouraging folks to bring canned food, dry goods, those types of things that we will donate to a local food pantry. It's not a fundraising event, so you don't have to pay to enter. And we'll also have the museum open for the day. Folks will be able to go through the museum, check out all the displays that we have. We do have new things periodically, and just a fun family event that we would love for folks to come out and enjoy.
Of course, the cars, they're the primary draw, but do not forget about the food and the vendors.
We'll have food trucks going. We have confirmed that Duck Donuts, which I know is always popular, will be out here. And we'll also have Big John's food truck, which he's developed quite the following here at Petty's Garage and down here in Randolph County. We always look forward to seeing those folks come out. And then, of course, we'll have awesome cars for the cruise in. Folks can bring any type of car, really. We are not mandatory that it has to be classic or a muscle. You just bring what you want and come out and enjoy the day.
So you saw that picture with all the cars. Chad said it looks like a car dealership.
Right, yeah.
And imagine that all those aren't the Pettys. Those are people that bring their cars
yeah.
to be seen
Wow.
there. Pretty cool.
I love going to the Petty Museum just to see so much history. I mean, I didn't grow up in North Carolina, unfortunately, but just going there, I mean, you really get a sense of the history of NASCAR and stock car racing in this state and how much of a big deal Richard Petty has been and still is.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Cars, Christmas stuff, Richard Petty and Santa Claus. I mean, what
That's
more
it.
could you ask for, right?
That's all there is. That's it. That's all there is. It is fun because I love his cars when they're there on display. But if you wander around the garage, there's always someone that works there, and they love to tell you the stories about the early days of NASCAR when it wasn't quite as precise, regulated, you know, and the tricks
Right.
they would do to win. And it's really fascinating.
Another thing I love about this is the gift shop, where everything that's for sale is literally signed by Richard Petty.
Really?
Like I went in there once with my parents, and I found a koozie, and we didn't know this at the time, but there was a koozie that looked like it was signed by Richard Petty, but it was $2.50. And so I went and asked the woman at the counter. I said, "There's no way that he actually signed this, otherwise it would be a lot more expensive." And she said, "Oh no, he insists on signing every single piece
My
of
gosh.
merchandise
I
that comes
love
in there."
that.
And it just, yeah, his signature is on everything.
Quick story, I was actually in Daytona when I worked in Tampa, Florida, covering the Daytona 500, and I was doing a story on Richard Petty's driver at that time, Archie, and he let us in the big travel RV that they take down there. It's like marble floor with the Petty logo. It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Richard Petty walks in, all of us kind of got quiet. The driver, Archie, goes, "Hi, King." He goes, "Hi," walks over, opens up his closet. I'm not kidding. He was wearing a denim long sleeve shirt with the Petty logo on it. He opened his closet, there were about 10 of the exact same shirt. He just changes into another one and puts it on. He left, and I asked the driver, he goes, "That's what he does. He likes that style, so he'll have a bunch of those in case he needs another shirt."
Okay.
That
That was the funniest
Very
thing.
smart.
great.
He's awesome. Such a good guy. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
From the recording studio to the movie set, Lady Gaga, they say that she can do it all. WFMY News 2 photojournalist Manning Franks has a preview of House of Gucci featuring the musician.
There is something so sweet about the name Gucci. It's like honey off of the tongue. It is a name with so much renown that even the symbols are a staple in pop culture. Yet even empires like Gucci house dark secrets. In House of Gucci, acclaimed director Ridley Scott assembles an all-star cast in hopes to uncover the tragic downfall of a fashion family. Or at least I think it was tragic. It's been over a week and I still don't really know what I watched.
I've been the Gucci all my life. It is an empire.
You can help the family. Gucci is not exciting, and everybody knows it.
At least it's my name, sweetie.
Our name, sweetie.
Patrizia Reggiani, played by Lady Gaga, is an ambitious working woman. Maurizio Gucci, played by Adam Driver, is the tepid heir to the Gucci empire. Despite their differences, the two lovebirds wed and become a force of nature within the fashion halls of Gucci. However, Gucci was built upon the unbridled power of a single family. And as Patrizia begins to clash with the established rule, the Gucci name becomes a cascading cavalcade of criminal couture. Like that alliteration? See, that's the type of fun, flippant excess that House of Gucci tries to hem into the edges of its story. Unfortunately, it suffers from an identity crisis. It juxtaposes between two different styles, resulting in a tonal whiplash for the viewer. At times, it fully engrosses you in that walk between loud camp and straight drama, but not even great leading performances of Adam Driver and Lady Gaga can keep the movie from meandering, being unfocused, and ultimately overstaying its welcome with an excessive runtime. Although don't mistake my criticism for a distaste of the film. When House of Gucci dictates its time to walk that balance between tongue-in-cheek flashes and dramatic sincerity, it becomes laced with pure entertainment value from top to bottom. The greatest example of this is the tightrope that Lady Gaga walks as Patrizia. Gaga gives her best performance yet as she moves expertly between the larger-than-life character, yet never failing to bring real vulnerability to the screen when called upon. On the other side of the spectrum, Jared Leto plays the eccentric Paolo Gucci, and, to be frank, it was almost like he was given a different script from his fellow actors. Leto is so over the top that one could have mistaken him for the third Mario brother with his voice and mannerisms. True, his cartoonish nature prompted a few chuckles out of me, but Leto represents the film being truly lost in what it wanted to be. At the end of the day, I was really looking forward to House of Gucci, and it's always unfortunate when a movie doesn't aspire to what it can be. Hey, maybe the inevitable director's cut will change my mind. But for now, I must give Gucci a not-so-chic for you to decide. You can see this film playing only in theaters.
And it's actually in theaters. Now, you know, I saw an interview with Lady Gaga the other day on one of the late night shows where she talked about how getting into this role, that she actually stayed in character 24 hours a day for the months they were filming this.
Wow.
She kept the accent, she kept the name, and she wanted to just be immersed in this character. And so she said it was easier for her during the shoot to portray this woman because she has already been in her character.
Lived it, yeah.
She lived it.
So it was funny, Manning was talking with me about this and he showed me some of the clips that I hadn't seen anything except a trailer. And he's right, as much as I think Jared Leto's a great actor, but it was an exaggerated, almost like a caricature of an Italian person. And he said that between that and Lady Gaga's great performance, he said, I didn't know whether to laugh or to have the drama part of it show up. So I can't wait. I'm gonna see it because I like the story, but you know, interesting.
Yeah, no, I actually this weekend I was like looking for it. I didn't realize it wasn't streaming anywhere, so I'm gonna have to actually go to the theater to see it. But I've really been looking forward to it. Hopefully it's good. I mean, just the fact to see Lady Gaga's performance, especially after what you just told me, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see movies in theaters anymore, so I'm probably going to miss this one.
Come on, Chad, go with us.
It'll be on a streaming site in the
we'll
future.
Go
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Because I want to see how I think good actors do that. They'll stay in character.
Yeah.
Like Michael Myers in Wayne's World. That's a whole nother story. We'll be right back.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Hey there, good afternoon, everybody. Eric Chilton here with Chad Silver and Stacy Spivey. Welcome back to the 4 to 5.
Yeah, thank you to everyone watching right here on News 2, Fire Stick, Roku, and all the News 2 app for your TV, phone, or tablet. And of course, we're on Facebook. So if you want to go ahead, start weighing in. We are chatting with you right now.
And we are talking about a huge story today. It's the biggest story of the day, the month, maybe even the year in our area. Toyota is moving in. The company chose the Greensboro-Randolph Megasite to build its first North American battery manufacturing plant. The billion-dollar investment will create more than 1,700 jobs. Toyota says it'll produce batteries for hybrid electric cars at that plant. Governor Cooper says the project paves the way to make our state a leading figure in clean energy.
As all of this progress continues, the world will look at North Carolina as a hub of clean energy and clean energy jobs.
Today's announcement is expected to grow the state's economy by nearly $10 billion over the next 20 years. Production will start by 2025. Hiring will be no later than 2024.
Another project underway in Greensboro, Project Thunderbird. Governor Cooper signed House Bill 334 today, which budgets $100 million for PTI Airport. The money would be used for improvements at the airport to attract an airplane manufacturer. Improvements would include site work, building roads, and constructing at least one new hangar. That project could create another 1,700 jobs.
Another car company is setting up shop in our state south of here. Arrival says it'll establish a high voltage battery manufacturing plant in Charlotte. The plant will create 150 jobs with starting salaries of $54,000 a year. The product will service Arrival's that's a word I don't see often, micro factories in Rock Hill and the Queen City. This is Arrival's third facility.
High school students in North Carolina's second largest school district will only be allowed to bring clear backpacks to school. Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools saw several incidents involving guns in the district this past week. Their superintendent says the district is also working on a tool for students to anonymously report incidents And it's doubling the number of safety screenings in secondary schools while also reaching out to manufacturers about metal detectors and wands.
These schools are meant to be places of learning, places of community, and there's just no place for guns in them.
Several school districts across the Triad have also found guns brought onto their campuses this school year, including Guilford County. A school board member says while there aren't any plans to discuss a clear bag policy now, it is not out of the picture.
Speaking to one of my former principals at the high school level, saying, you know what, the games, maybe we need to initiate, clear bags, to come into your stadium, as an idea, because all the collegiate world demands it. You can't come into, any of their stadiums unless you do have a clear bag.
Following the deadly shooting at Mount Tabor High School, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools issued a clear bag policy for all schools events earlier this year, but the district does not require clear bags for students during the normal school day.
A little bit more elaboration on Winston-Salem Forsyth County's school bag policy. They're for those large events and sports competitions, but the district was also discussing other safety precautions. District leaders say they will discuss safety assessments at upcoming board meetings. The superintendent over there announced safety assessment teams would analyze the needs of individual schools after the Mount Tabor shooting and a series of weapons found on campuses. Tabor High School also has an extra school resource officer on campus, which took effect more than a month ago.
As of today, Yadkin County Schools is using a new threshold for masking rules. Today, Yadkin County Schools will move to a COVID metric-based system to determine if masks are required school by school. If the metrics are low enough, masks will be optional for students and staff. The school district's COVID dashboard shows Forbush High School is the only school requiring them for today based on its high exclusion rate. Masks are optional for all other Yadkin County schools.
Tonight, Davidson County Schools and Alamance Burlington will revisit their district's mask policies. Both will meet at 6:30 tonight. Remember, all districts in the state have to review their policies every 30 days, and it's actually required by the state. Guilford County Schools will most likely revisit their mask policy when the board meets again later this month.
Today, airports nationwide begin enforcing a new COVID testing rule for international travelers, regardless of vaccine status or nationality. The 24-hour testing requirement for international arrivals comes as health officials watch the new Omicron variant. Those travelers need to show proof of a negative test 24 hours before a flight. Previously, the testing rule gave travelers a 3-day window in which to get tested.
Guilford County is showing a concerning number of coronavirus hospitalizations today. The number of patients in county hospitals jumped 20 over the weekend, from 49 on Friday to 69 today. It's the highest number that we have seen in a month and a half. Remember, the gaps here are the days that the county doesn't report this data, typically over the weekend. Cone Health's data shows a similar spike there at the end of the graph. The hospital system is treating 14 more patients today than it was on Friday.
North Carolina is now offering incentives for prisoners to get the COVID vaccine. Any prisoner who gets vaccinated can add $25 to their canteen. Prison staff gets a $500 bonus for getting vaccinated. The incentives will be funded by the CARES Act.
All right, time now to get to your 4 to 5 roundup. First up, crews in Richmond, Virginia started removing the pedestal where a former Confederate statue once stood. The Robert E. Lee statue was removed back in September and is currently in storage while leaders work to figure out where the statue will go. Virginia is going to give the land to the city of Richmond. The mayor said the community will get to decide what is done with the site. The removal process could take up to a month. The number 15 Pitt Panthers are now ACC champions after defeating the Demon Deacs over the weekend. Pitt took an early lead over the Deacs, but Wake Forest kept fighting. The Demon Deacons ended up losing 21-14 after scoring touchdowns on the first 4 possessions of the game. Pitt tied the game in the second quarter, then hit a field goal just before halftime. The final score here, the Demon Deacons lost 32-45. The win is the 3rd conference title in Pitt history. The Carolina Panthers head coach Matt Rule commented on the firing of offensive coordinator Joe Brady. Rule said it was the right move to part ways with Brady as the Panthers deal with the 4th worst offense in the NFL in terms of yards gained this season. Rule hired Brady last year. He was part of LSU's national championship when he was the Tigers' co-offensive coordinator. The Panthers said senior offensive assistant Jeff Nixon will coordinate the offense in conjunction with the remainder of the offensive coaching staff for the last 5 games of the season. The Detroit Lions finally have their first win of the season. The Lions had lost numerous games this season on last-second scores, but the shoe was on the other foot for their game against the Vikings. Jared Goff passed to rookie Amon St. Brown just as the clock ran out. The win ended a 15-game winless streak. This was the first win for Dan Campbell as the full-time head coach in the NFL. The Lions honored the Oxford High School community at Sunday's game after a mass shooting at the school last week killed 4 students and left 6 others wounded.
Well, taking a look at our forecast, changes coming up for tomorrow, and we're talking about temperatures more than anything. You can see the wind moving our Skycam here in downtown Greensboro. Look at that, blowing all over the place. The winds will continue overnight tonight, be pretty brisk, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting higher. And then tomorrow morning windy, but we think that'll relax as we head throughout the day. Temperatures right now, though, 69 in Burlington, 66 Greensboro. These temperatures are above normal for us. We're usually around 54 this time of the year. 67 in Winston, 63 Wilkesboro. You have to go to Galax and Boone to break the 50s. 53 and 51 there respectively. Looking into the evening hour by hour, pretty cloudy. Again, an isolated shower or 2, not a washout, just an isolated shower here or there. Not a big deal. You'll see temperatures going to the 50s by 11 o'clock tonight. We think overnight lows will be in the mid 40s and then gradual clearing tomorrow, but temperatures are not going to budge very much. Only 48 to 49 degrees there in that neck of the woods for tomorrow's high. A lot of that rain stays to the south for now. That could change though as you look at our futurecast here. Just a couple of showers overnight, quick clear out tomorrow, and then it's Wednesday that we see the greatest chance of rain. It'll come in from the southwest to the northeast. It may miss the northwest parts of our viewing area, maybe even the western half of the viewing area, but the heaviest rains will be down east. Wednesday still our heaviest rain day of the week, and that'll be a 40% chance of showers.
You know what this is, right? It's the tip jar. You see it in coffee places, to dog grooming spots. You'll see this by the cash register a lot. That's a spur of the moment tip. But what about targeted tipping? According to a new creditcards.com poll of more than 2,000 adults, consumers plan to tip service providers at least $20 and up to $50 on average this holiday season. All right, so my question to you today is, do you holiday tip? And if so, who gets it? And is it personally like one time, a year thing, or is it someone who normally gets a tip?
We do, the mail carrier and the garbage man and all that. We do that kind of stuff, but just during the holidays.
Okay.
I mean, I tip at restaurants.
Restaurants and stuff.
Right, all
okay.
that stuff, yeah.
Right. Okay.
I would say that the only holiday tipping that I do above what I normally do would be my hairstylist.
Okay, I do that one too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Honestly, I didn't even know this was a thing, which that makes
That's
me feel
okay.
horrible. But now I'm like, okay, well maybe I should be tipping more during the holidays.
For decades, I didn't know you're supposed to do that for your hairstylist. Chad mentioned that, and my wife said, "What? You've never been doing that?" So now I do that.
I mean, yeah, I tip my hairstylist, but I didn't
never
know
given her a holiday tip.
No.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at who the survey folks said that they would tip and how much. Nearly half of respondents said they tip a housekeeper $50 on average. 41% said they tip the same amount for a child care provider. So I'm guessing that's like a babysitter or so, that you would give them that above the actual payment there. And get this, 45% of consumers said that they would tip folks more than normal because it's been a tough couple of years.
Well, fortunately for me, I don't have a housekeeper and I don't have kids.
So you get off a little bit easier.
Yep, I don't have to worry about
You
those.
just tip me, Chad. I'll take it.
Now, how about the people who deliver your food? Because you do a lot of food delivery.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't.
Okay, but you normally tip them.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Right.
not more because it's during the holidays.
Gotcha. Okay, so we want to take a look at this. What the survey says the tips for the money gifts could be this year. So if you're like, hey, I don't know about tipping. Well, then maybe this will be your roundabout, okay? So they're saying that a mail carrier gets on average about 20 bucks. A trash collector gets about 20 bucks. A teacher, they say, gets a money gift of about $25. And I'm like, that's much better than the mug, right, that we all used to give her, right? And then a landscaper gets $30. So happy tipping to you.
Well, you know, it's time for the holiday classic Handel's Messiah. We hear choruses performing this all the time, but the Winston-Salem Symphony and the Winston-Salem Symphony Chorus, they have made a few additions to make this like no other. I spoke with the choral director, Christopher Gilliam, about their show. It's coming up tomorrow night.
In the past, we've used a chamber ensemble for the chorus, and this time we're using the whole of the chorus, which is about 70 members. We're excited about that, and the chorus is very excited about that. We also have an incredible lineup of soloists this year, just wonderful professionals, and I believe their voices that folks are going to want to hear. And of course, we're back in Centenary, which is a beautiful space. It's a beautiful resonant space, and it just kind of feels like you're walking into the Christmas season when you walk in that venue. So I think there's a lot of new things to be heard. We're doing a couple of additional choruses and recits this year, so it's going to be unlike any Messiah that people have heard in recent past.
So the show itself, normally inspiring, but that's exactly what Gilliam says he hopes to convey this holiday season.
I always want people coming away from my concerts feeling hope, feeling that their heart has been touched, feeling that something about the music in that space has enabled them to feel encouraged. You know, particularly holiday times can be somewhat sentimental. It can be sad for some. I've had several people come to me over the years to say, you know, there's nothing like Messiah to lift my spirit during the holiday. It can seem so commercial and it can seem so trivial, but Messiah seems to bring for many people a sense of depth.
This show is tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. in the Centenary United Methodist Church. That's on West 5th Street in Winston-Salem. Imagine a full symphony and a full chorus. You know, that music and the choral combined is powerful.
In that setting, too.
Yes.
I have never been inside of that church, but it looks beautiful.
I haven't either. It looks really nice.
Yeah, we were just talking about that when you were showing the pictures. It's pretty. I grew up in a Methodist church that did something very similar, and that always was such a huge thing every year to go to. It was called Carols and Candles, actually, and something that we always look forward to. So it just kind of made me think about
Takes you
that.
back.
Yeah, and it was something that I think the community really enjoyed as a whole.
Did you have those little candles with a paper rim
We
around them
did.
that everybody held?
Yes, and we sang that song, It Only Takes a Spark to Get a Fire Going. It was great. And you each, you passed on the
That's
candle.
right, to light each other's
Yes,
candles. That's
yep.
exactly right.
I think one of my favorite parts about Christmas in the church is, do you guys have, I mean, I went to a very small Catholic church, but they would always, the pastor would always bring up the kids and sit them
Yes.
around
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and tell them stories of Christmas and Jesus, and that was always my favorite part of the holiday.
It's still my favorite as an adult to watch the kids and hear
Yeah.
what they say. It's so cute.
Oh, and there's always the one that's
Yes.
over in the corner, just like.
right.
The best entertainment of all. We'll be back. Stay right there.
How you doing? My name is Specialist Ross. I just want to give a shout out to everybody in the rear. Wish you a happy holidays. And shout out to the NBs, new brothers. I love y'all. I'll see y'all when I get back.
For so many of us, we spend a lifetime searching for our life purpose. Today on YOUDAY, Coach Lamont explains why not only realizing your purpose is important, but how purpose fulfillment can impact your life forever.
Purpose is the key to life fulfillment. However, you will never be fulfilled until you realize it for your life. Remember, I asked the question, where's the wealthiest place in the world? It's the cemetery. But let's add a greater perspective to this. The graveyard is not always external, it's between your ears. So many of us are using our minds as a place to die to our lives, die to our dreams, to our potential. What starts in the mind will eventually find its way into the fabric of our lives, and we exchange a life of potential greatness for a life of chaos. Now is the time to realize you were created for such a time as this, and the world needs you. Live today. The grave can wait. This is Coach Lamont. Make today your best YOUDAY. I'll see you tomorrow.
So basically, I realize now that he's just way smarter than I am. Every day, I realize that more and more.
You know, I'm just glad that he talked about this, because if you are struggling with anything, know that you do have a purpose in this life. You may not know what it is yet.
That's right.
But you do have a purpose.
And sometimes I feel like it's not what we expect sometimes,
Exactly.
You know? You're surprised, pleasantly surprised. All right, stick around. We have My 2 cents coming up. I'm talking about obsessive Christmas decorations.
Oh, no.
Stick around. You want the rest of it or no?
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3.
Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check 1.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So bad. Mic check 1, 2, 3.
If you could hear me. Oh, I can hear me now. That's very loud. I need to turn this down. Stacy.
So it's time for My 2 cents, and today we are talking Christmas decorations. Now look, I'm the first to admit my family is insane over Christmas. It's our favorite holiday of the year. We go all out. But it wasn't until this year that I started noticing how crazy me and my wife are about decorating things. Yeah, so take a look. Here's our tree. First of all, it's the biggest tree we've ever gotten. It's 10 feet tall. We lost our minds and bought a huge tree and got that up, decorated that. Now, my wife is all about some coffee mugs, so she has some Christmas mugs. Here's one. Here's another one. Yeah, there's another one. And that's only the first 3 I could find. There are a lot more. We've talked about this before. If you've watched My 2 Cents, pillows, they're a thing for my wife. So yes, holiday pillow, holiday pillow. Now, candy cane, little wooden candy cane that stands up in the corner. She even goes to the length of dish towels. Yes, that too. Fireplace is decorated, these little tree thingies on either side of the fireplace. A couple of stockings are missing because they're in the dry cleaners, but they'll be there, don't worry. Then there's also the Rudolph gang. We have those stuffed plush toys. There's the rest of the Rudolph gang. Actually, the snowman is up in Tyler's room. You can't just have one tree. Yep, you got to have 2. So here's the second tree that's in the foyer when you first walk in. And throw blankets. Oh, did I mention pillows and more pillows? Yes. That's all that I could squeeze in the time that we have for My 2 Cents. So the bottom line is we might be a little obsessed, but there is no better time in the Chilton household than Christmas time. We love it for our kids. We love it for us. And that's just My 2 Cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.